Hey there, and welcome to my channel. This is Anais Salas, Patreon Sage, and today I am doing a intuitive reading for the energy of the divine masculine coming into the change in seasons and moving into what people will call the Cancer season. We have some really interesting energy shifts happening, and we're for those who are in that alignment of thought, we're in an energy cycle where we're going to have a full solar eclipse coming up in just a day or two. So if you haven't watched my This Is How I Work video, I suggest you do that first. A quick reminder, I'm reading for the Sacred Union Collective. And I'm excited to announce that we're going to be launching our Meeting the Beloved podcast that's going to be really diving deep into the challenges of being in sacred union. So I will include information about that when we're ready. So that's coming up soon. Also, my readings are not gender specific. We all have divine masculine and feminine within us, and we're balancing those when we're in the sacred union journey, and that is where my focus is. I'm not a traditional tarot reader. I don't really concern myself with issues of love or specifically of money. I'm focusing on sacred union and becoming a conscious co-creator as part of that journey. Okay, so let's get into the reading. Now, I've done a reading already for Divine Feminine today, and she had one card coming out, but the Divine Masculine today, he's doing double duty. So he had two cards out, and these are the cards. He is focusing on bringing his mission into the world. At the same time, he is holding support for his Divine Feminine. So this is a really, this bodes well for Divine Masculine, and obviously there are going to be some interesting journeys and bumps and challenges, as there always are, as we're clearing out anything that is in the way of our living our union, living our divine blueprint with our counterpart, and bringing our mission work into bringing in our mission work into the world that we experience as three-dimensional reality. And I'll tell you what, that's becoming really different for everybody. We are all co-creating, and the timelines are converging, and this is the journey. So it's kind of like being in a pinball machine, but I think most of us are figuring some of this out, and we're also really relaxing into the parts of this journey that can't be figured out. So if you've watched my prep video, you know that I have tiny little hands, and so I pre-shuffle and I put the cards out first. Now the way this is going to work is I'm going to do a general energy reading, and then there will be an extended reading. And again, this is for the Divine Feminine current energies. So let's get started. For the position of the Divine Feminine, the container of consciousness for this reading, she's holding the energy of Imagine. Source is holding the energy of Go the Distance for both the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. That's interesting. This card, Go the Distance, came out in the Divine Feminine reading, which I just did a little bit earlier. And here's, so you get a really beautiful look at the Imagine card, because I think this is where we're at when we're co-creating. We are definitely using our sacred imagination to co-create with Source. And we have co-create. Okay, so here we have, again, we have the the repeat energy of the beautiful source egg that's inspiring all of this. And we have the cheetah here, which has been encouraged to go the distance. It has crossed that finish line. And it is now sitting at the top looking at what's available in terms of its new perspectives and view, having moved into a new imaginal realm. And it is taking a moment to consider what its process of co-creation will be and how it will participate in that. So this is the masculine energy. Very nice. Now, because the masculine is doing double duty in this reading, we also have the energy of the fish and the turtle. Really interesting, because these are pretty, while they're watery creatures, the fish is all water, the turtle is water and earth. So that's a nice blending of the masculine and feminine energies right now. And I would say that this is going to be probably elaborated on as we move through the rest of the reading. But the fish is about swimming in the water, moving fluidly, and the fish, generally speaking, moves in community. There are some fish that are loners, but for the most part, the fish is a communal animal, swimming in schools, while the turtle is more of a solo creature and living its life in more solo energy. So this represents where the divine masculine may be trying to find balance now, with where he is allowing himself to move into community with others and feeling secure in doing that, and where he's really being clear that he needs to stay on his own solo path as part of staying in balance within his union energies. So we have that. Okay, now I am using the Colette Baron Reed Animal Spirit deck here. The Spirit Animal Oracle. So I want to get these right. But the decks are all included in this description below because I have a few favorites. So we're beginning looking at where is the divine masculine current energy right now. And this is bee spirit. Sweet results await. So this is an industrious little creature. I have been a beekeeper. I've had the pleasure of working with these incredible beings and also of being in a relationship with the bee diva herself. And it was my meeting the bee diva that happened for me and moving into an incredible space of a relationship with Gaia through my relationship with the bee diva and the bees. It's another whole story. I'm actually writing a book about it. So here's this incredible spirit, hard worker. Now this is a worker bee. This is a worker bee. This bee is out gathering nectar, pollen, bringing it back to the hive. A bee lives in absolute community. A bee doesn't really have an individuational consciousness. The hive operates as one, and everything that happens, every bee contributes to the hive in really interesting ways. And the honeybee, the worker bee, takes on a variety of roles. From the moment she emerges from her cell, she takes on a number of roles, the first one being that of a nurse bee, where she's assisting other bees in their birth process out of the cell. And her last role that she plays is going out to be a courageous forager, bringing back resources for the hive. So the divine masculine is actually holding this energy right now. Now, the pairing for this we'll get into later because that's going to be part of the extended reading. But this is really sweet results are waiting when we are on the sacred union journey and we're being really industrious about our inner work, clarification, purification, and clearing out everything that is not our divine blueprint in our daily life. Okay, so that is a key part of the sacred union journey. Next we have the dragonfly energy. And this is truth transcends illusion. And I think this is a really important message for the divine masculine because I feel right now While in the Divine Feminine's reading, she was being really encouraged to stand in her sovereignty and to come into a more trusted place with her own discernment. I feel that the sacred masculine is being asked to really take a moment to go deep and to transcend any illusions he may be in about the nature of the relationship, how he participates in the relationship, and coming into the truth of that, and perhaps needing to give away some of the illusions of his life conditioning. And I feel that this is some of what is going on for the Divine Masculine in the current energies. Next, we have Whale Spirit, which is trust the great mystery. Well, that's exactly what happens when we move from letting go of our conditioned way of perceiving the world, our conditioned way of perceiving relationship. With the Divine Masculine, so many of them are having to really let go and release their patriarchal conditioning about what is the feminine role in a relationship, what is their role in the relationship. Some of the older Divine Masculines, and they're still involved in the Sacred Union journey, are having to work through the divided brain paradigm, where they represent the left brain and the Divine Feminine is in the right brain, and so your place is to hold the right brain energy and to be creative and to be feeling, and my place is to hold the structure and the form. And so that's what I'm going to do, and that's what you're going to do. Well, when we come into union, these roles merge, the right and left brain hemispheres of the brain integrate and become balanced. And so there's a process where we have to kind of release what our conditioned mind, what our perhaps family of origin mindsets have been about gender roles, and what the masculine is supposed to do and what the feminine is supposed to do. So I think we're in current energies again. Moving through the Divine Masculine is moving through clearing out some of that information and releasing it. And in doing that, he's going to be letting go of judgment and perhaps shame and guilt, and he's going to be liberating himself from that, as well as his Divine Feminine inwardly and outwardly. Well, next we have the Grasshopper Spirit, which is take a leap of faith. So we are coming into a time where once we learn to trust the great mystery, which is deep, 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 deep diving into the subconscious and imaginal realms, and then being able to take that information and move very lightly in our three-dimensional reality and in our physical bodies to integrate that truth transcends illusion, so that we can then trust the great mystery, and then the Divine Masculine is able to take the next leap of faith that he is presented with in terms of how is he expressing his awakened and liberated from cultural conditioning. How is he taking a leap of faith to express that in conscious co-creation and in clear communication with his Divine Feminine? A lot of what's going to be happening in the next little while is really about communication, because we may not know, the Divine Masculine may not know, he may just be operating from assumption. And it takes some time in this journey, believe me. It takes time for both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine to get on the same page energetically and in the external. So the Grasshopper Spirit is like, okay, you're being prepared, you're moving through the illusion, you're being guided to move through the illusion and the cultural conditioning about gender roles. You're learning to trust the great mystery, and that is preparing you for your next leap of faith. Now, another theme that's coming up with the Divine Masculine right now with current energies is he's holding the dynamic of, gosh, I'm going to take that leap of faith, but I'm going to be really relaxed in how intellectual and how rigid I am about the way things are supposed to be, And I'm going to allow that to be relaxed, and I'm going to allow my playful energy to be part of the leap of faith that I am taking as I'm learning to move into this place of what is going on here really? Who am I in this dynamic? What part of this do I uphold? How do I show up with accountability in terms of my feeling state and my mental state and how I communicate? What's my self-talk? And what's the self-talk I'm generating around my divine feminine? And have I taken the time to actually check in with her about that on any level? I could be harboring misperceptions, assumptions, and we're not really communicating. Because I'm coming from a place where in my role, perhaps cultural conditioning around who and how the divine masculine functions, I've forgotten how to be playful, and how much self-discovery there is in being playful, and how much discovery of the other is part of that playful energy. And it's so much more fun to do it in a lighthearted, playful way. The journey is serious enough without forgetting to be playful. So that's really a sweet reminder. Then we go into, okay, I'm a little nuts. I'm running around from place to place. I'm gathering up resources in my season. I'm pulling together the reality of, do we have enough? Will we have enough? Am I enough for the divine feminine? Will she accept me as I am? If you want to just look at this card, which the message is believe in yourself. And here's the divine masculine looking at his sacred union counterpart in the feminine going, oh, really? Really? Why would this work? How would this partnership work? Because in this energy of the squirrel spirit, the divine masculine is focusing on the small aspects of who he is. And perhaps his fear will choices are getting in the way of him recognizing how he matches this energy and how his divine feminine already sees him as a match to her being in her queen energy. And so I think this is kind of the lead up from these other cards is, be industrious, allow the sacred union energy and the source energy coming in to help you transcend illusion. And one of the illusions would be that you're not equal to this. Or in the reverse, she is not equal to your queen energy, where you may be a queen and moving on into your growth and expansion where you'll become a king. So that's a place of separation in the relationship. And once you begin to believe in yourself and to trust the mystery, then you will experience the actual energy of your divine feminine, and you will feel that she is already moving into a place of love and acceptance because she's given that to herself. This is how she became the energy of the queen. She's given that self-acceptance and self-love, and she's really already in union within herself, and she's really moving quickly into union with the source energy. So she's recognizing what you're doing when you're doing this work. She's not going to be criticizing you for being too busy and not being able to maybe spend as much time with her as both of you would like in the physical. She's recognizing that while you're storing away resources, you're also clearing out what will not serve the union. So this is a really interesting transition because this is about a power dynamic. And in the sacred union, the power dynamic, the imbalance in the power, is one of the most important things that gets cleared away and put into balance. And it's really deeply understood emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This imbalance is being corrected, and we can recognize when both the Queen of Earth has to drop into her squirrel spirit and believe in herself and get things done, and when the Divine Masculine has to rise into recognizing that his queen is holding the container of consciousness for him to do exactly what he needs to do in his own timing. So this is a very important message for the Divine Masculine, because it is part of how he is going to bring his individual mission into the world as they both come into sacred union. So this is really cool. Well, next we have the moth spirit coming out for the Divine Masculine. And this is another gentle reminder to surrender now and the delicacy of the journey of surrender. And part of what he's surrendering to is trusting in the balance of power between himself and the Divine Feminine. And it is not imbalanced. He's just perceiving it that way because he hasn't opened yet into the imaginal realm where he can feel, right? He can feel that there's this terrific energy. The great mystery is behind them both. And he can surrender to this. She is surrendering to this. And they will both be able to trust the great mystery and to trust the process. Okay, so this is really, really a wonderful reminder. And when the Divine Masculine has done his preparation and has moved out of some additional cultural conditioning, he will recognize that he's in the position to look around, to see what else there is to be seen, recognized, noticed, and felt, and integrated. And when he goes into surrender, he then is in a beautiful power position to do that work in his own sacred union journey, in his lane. So that's quite lovely. Next we have Wolf Spirit coming out. And this is beautiful. Turn knowledge into wisdom. Now this is part of what Squirrel Spirit has been doing. It's been taking away the accumulation of many resources, many tools in the toolbox, and it's now translating all of that information. All of that energy is being translated into information that shows up in the world as knowledge and is transforming yet again into wisdom. And so this is a card perhaps of a teacher, of someone who's working in the spirit realm and in the imaginal realm and in the physical realm, as someone who is embodying a great deal of knowledge, and it is becoming wisdom, and is part of the mission work that the Divine Masculine will be doing in his external reality as he moves into bringing his mission work, his unique journey of the mission, into the world. So this is a beautiful, beautiful validation and affirmation of the journey of the Divine Masculine energy right now. Well, next out we have the Seahorse Spirit, and the seahorse is a water creature, and so there's the emotional choice to just sort of float a little bit and let things evolve, let the process happen, let things be cleared away, let the integration happen, let the expansion happen, just watching and waiting in a state of calm and balanced emotional trust in the journey and in the mystery. So this is kind of fun because here you have the really big energy. And the really big energy is looking at the tiny microcosmic fractal of this experience and saying, yep, you're cool. I'm with you. Now's the time for you to watch and wait and to keep your eye on the prize. Beautiful. Now, the last card out for the general reading is Love is All Around. And here we go from an isolated deep sea diver creature in its fractal to a nightingale, which has got a beautiful song to sing. It is absolutely, both of these energies are empowered by the deep. This is the imaginal realm, the realm of the subconscious, the conscious mind, all coming into beautiful interaction with each other. And this whale spirit and this seahorse spirit, through the patience of watching and waiting, is now in the position to begin singing its unique song. And singing the unique song is the way that we broadcast, I'm here, I'm authentic. And if you haven't yet met your sacred union counterpart in the physical, this is the frequency, this is the energy that is going to draw you two together. And you need to be prepared to have done all this other work, or you may not recognize this person because they will come in a package that your culturally conditioned mind would go, that person's not attractive to me. Why would I be interested in that person at all on a physical level? Right? And even if you're not going to develop an intimate partnership with your sacred union counterpart, you will likely be working together. And so to understand there's going to be still an etheric balancing and harmonization of your two blueprints, you will need to hold a space of loving appreciation and acceptance of whatever form or package your divine counterpart comes to you wrapped inside of. And this is a really important part of the journey as well, because I can assure you, and if you're tuning into this and you come and you join us on the Meeting the Beloved webinar, is that we're going to be offering on Patreon page, you will hear validation that there's a part of the journey where the external partner shows up and there's confusion. It's like, well, that wasn't what I was expecting. Not at all. And so I love it that this card has come out, because it is how we come into the recognition of who is our partner going to be in the world. Who are we going to be in the world? And where in the world are we going to meet our beloved? And how will the world energy and the deep processes that we're going toward bring us together so that we're singing one really beautiful song that's completely aligned in co-creation, aligned with Source and Gaia. The entire complete gestalt, the wholeness, and the gorgeous, stunning, and powerful microcosm or fractal of that energy, which is each of us holding our individual, unique expression of who we are as a sovereign soul in the creation. Okay, so that concludes the general reading, and thank you again for watching and tuning into my channel. If you have appreciated this intuitive card reading, do like and share, and I hope you'll stop by again. And if you are ready to go much deeper and you have the time, because this is my weekend reading where I can take quite a bit of time to go deeper into the process, I hope that you will join me on the extended. But if not, I bid you ease, abundance, gratitude, and love in all that you do and experience for the rest of the day. Thanks. Bye.